Along with Hannah, I hope.
That just goes to show you, it's more about manipulating people than it is about saving.
Alright, are we actually live? Give me 1 second and I will start. Thank you for joining me today. I am just waiting for actual notification that I'm live. I think I'm live now. I've got a timer. Sometimes it does not give me a timer when we go live. And I need to with Hannah, I hope. Okay. I was just making sure my audio was working. I am using a new camera. So I was just making sure that the sound is working. Excuse if there is background noises. It does say I am live now, so okay. I apologize for that. Welcome to Crochet Along with Hannah. My name is Hannah. I am at the Upper Chichester Library. You are going to hear some noise in the background. We are fully open right now, and you know, shh, this is a library. Anyhow, today we are going to be crocheting our little marshmallow peep bunnies. I have created one. I did alter the pattern that is written that I have here. I altered it a little bit to better suit the project, simply because sometimes you just have to, and you'll learn that as you continue to crochet. If you're joining this class, I'm hoping that you already have some knowledge, because this does take a little bit of prior knowledge, not a whole lot. If you can make a hat, or if you made the bunny, you can make the little Valentine's teddy bear I did. You can make this. This is a quick little amigurumi project. And amigurumi is just the name for a crocheted stuffed animal or knitted one, you know. I don't know why this keeps telling me that my frame rate is too low. I'm visible. Hopefully I am not cutting in and out. Let me see if I can adjust this a little. I don't think I can. I can't do anything about it. But we're going to get into it. This week, like I said, we're doing the little peep. Last time we did our little Easter basket. This is a cute little decoration for that.
Had the best vaccine you can get. The reporter said, "Oh, what's that?" Fauci says, "Natural immunity."
All right. So we are going to start this one. I'm just going to have to deal with the background noise. I've got patrons being loud, and I'm sorry. We're going to start with a magic ring, which is you start out looking like that. You kind of bring a loop through like that. It's slipping away from me. You yarn over, you close that off. That creates like a slip knot on the hook. We've gone over this before. And then you're going to put 6 single crochets. I may have to pause my live stream and go. Three, 4, 5, 6. And we are going to slip knot excuse me, slip stitch into the top of that first stitch. We're going to chain 1. I really need a stitch marker, but they're missing, so we're going to do without it. We're going to put 1 single crochet into the space we just slip stitched in. And then we're going to do 2 stitches in every loop from the previous row. So we're going to end up with a total of 12 stitches. We had 6 in the last round. We're doubling that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright, I really need a stitch marker. I don't have one. Give me 1 moment. I'm going to go grab another piece of yarn. Alright, so back. When you don't have a stitch marker, one of the tricks I have learned is to the last stitch in your row, you just kind of lay a piece of yarn down and crochet over that. And let that be your stitch marker to let you know that's the last stitch in your round. It helps, and make sure it's a different color than what you're using. If you don't have a stitch marker, another piece of scrap yarn will do. For our next row, we're going to chain 1. Normally I don't chain when I'm doing animals. I like a uniform all the way around look, but this pattern calls for chains, so we're going to do that. This third row, we are going to single crochet well, I forgot to slip stitch, so I am going to do that. I'm going to go into this stitch. I might have to go settle down some people. I apologize. Chain 1, and for row 3 I'm going to single crochet in the next stitch. This is our first stitch of round 3. I have joined and chained 1, so I'm going to single crochet in this, and then I'm going to put 2 single crochets in the next loop. 1, 2, and then I'm going to repeat that all the way around. So that was 3 stitches, 1 stitch in the next, that's 4, 2 stitches in the next, This is 5 and 6. 1 crochet in the next, that's 7. 2 in the next, that's 8 and 9. 10. 2 in the next, 11. 12. In the next, 13. In the next, 14. 15, that's 2 in there. 1 in the next, that's 16. 2 in the next, that is 17 and 18. And that is our last stitch in that round. So I am going to move my stitch marker into my last stitch of the round. Okay, I have slip stitched. After my last stitch in that round, I've chained 1. We're going to start on row 4. We are going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches, 1 in each. That's 1 and 2. And then we're going to put 2 in the next. That is 3, 4, 2 in the next, 5, or was that 2? Oh, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 7, 8. There's 2 and 1. And then 9, 10, 11, 12 go in the same, 13, and 14 are singles, and then 2 single crochets in 15 and 16. Stitches 17 and 18 go in their own stitches. We're going to put 19 and 20 in one stitch. And continue that pattern. 21, 22, and then 23 and 24 should go in their own spot. And again, I am moving my stitch marker up with that last stitch. And I didn't get it in there. It's all right. Oh, maybe I did. It did not look like it attached. Excuse me. I'm a little distracted today. Then I'm going to, again, slip stitch. I'm joining, I'm chaining 1. We are going to begin row 5. For row 5, I am going to do 1 single crochet, and 1 single crochet. That is 3. And then 4 and 5 go in the same stitch. 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 8 all get their own stitch. 9 and 10 go in the same stitch. 9, 10. So your sequence is 1 single crochet in 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then 2 and 1 stitch. 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. This should be number 14 and 15 going in here. Then 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20 are going to go in the same stitch. 21, 22, 23, then we're going to have 24 and 25 go in the same. 26, 27, 28, and again I'm going to move my stitch marker. 29, I'm going to put 30 in the same as that, and this is where I crochet my stitch marker into that stitch so I can move it. There we go. Now we are going to slip stitch to end the row, chain 1, and we're just going to go 1 stitch, 1 single crochet, the next 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. So rows 6, through 9 are just 1 round, or 1 stitch each round. One of these days I'm going to do a tutorial and I'm not going to get the hiccups. 1. I'm going to do this off camera. I am literally just, I mean, maybe I can. The camera tilts down. Oh, we're going to fall over. Maybe I can show you. One stitch.
It's hard to find placement. You're going into a big block of ice on that.
We are just completing this set. I'm going to move my camera back just a bit because there we go. Much better.
Were you a Saturday Night Live fan? So you used to watch it back with like it was Aykroyd, Belushi, Bill Murray, that group. They did a skit one time with Dan Aykroyd portraying Julian Child. He had a voice on, and he goes, "Oh, I cut myself," and they must have a tube hooked to his wrist, and the fake blood was squirting everywhere. Oh, I'm feeling pain. Is that the one where no,
I apologize for the noise in the background. Again, my coworker should be handling that, but you know. I might have to. Chain 1. I'm going to move my stitch marker up. Put this in. And I'm going to do 3 more rows of just 1 in each. 2.
See where the U.S. Capitol Police put in a false alarm about this plane that they said posed a threat. They had the building evacuated. Here the plane was carrying these Army parachutes that were going to the National Park. What if that plane would have been shot down?
13.
Oops. Oops. Sorry, guys.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That pressure system. All these medical facilities scale back closed. What happened down in Chestertown? Brandywine Hospital closed. Jeddersville Hospital closed.
$30. All right, so two more. Did I chain up? I don't remember. Did not. I'm gonna do that. Watch your tension. As you can see, this one was a little too tight. Watch your tension because it's hard to get in some of these stitches. 3, 4, 5, 6,
What are they closed?
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2,
Well,
3,
gotta realize, all government interference does is screw things up.
25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I must have lost count somewhere, or I have too many stitches. But that is okay. We will fix it. I need to redo this last stitch so I can get my stitch marker in there. Just popped out that last connecting stitch. I'm going to put my hook back through these loops. And just... there we go. So we're going to count these. And if I have to, I will decrease if I have too many stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excuse me, 1 moment.
Crochet has an agreement to sell to Christianity in Delaware.
I'm sorry.
I am back. Sorry about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Okay, so we are okay with our stitch count. I thought I was off. I may have just miscounted on my last row. We are going to do a few decrease rows. All right, we made it through those. So again, beginning of each row, we're going to chain 1. And then we're going to start our decrease rows, which I'm going to crochet 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to crochet 2 stitches together. This will be 1 stitch. So I'm going to go into this stitch. I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to pull through. I'm not going to complete that stitch. I'm not going to complete that stitch. I'm going to go into the stitch next to it, yarn over, draw up another loop. I have 3 stitches, 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull through all 3 of those. And then I'm going to follow suit. That was a total of 4 stitches we just did. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to do that again. 1 stitch, 1 stitch, 1 stitch, and then we're going to yarn over, draw up a loop through that hoop stitch, go into the next stitch, draw up another loop, and then we're going to finish that off. That is called crocheting 2 together. We're going to do 3 more stitches, 1 in each. 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, and then crochet 2 together, and we're going to complete that sequence all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that was our last stitch of that row. I should have moved it up, but again, I forgot. But the good thing is the crochet 2 together, it is very easy to slip that yarn through because it's a slightly wider stitch. Now you're supposed to stuff this, but you know, all right. Crochet, we're going to chain 1, start our next row. One, 2, and then we're going to crochet 2 together. That's the sequence we're doing. Sorry, I totally was listening to something and lost focus. I apologize. Crochet 1, go to the next stitch, 2, so you're doing 2 single crochets, and then you're crocheting the 3rd one together. This is a 3 stitch sequence. 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and then 1,
I know Pat's parents are practically shut-ins.
2 together,
They're both retired. They both work for TV guys, so I imagine
1
they would have nice
single, 1 single,
but
2 together,
after dinner. But my brother said they just have stuff to live on.
1 single,
Rough grocery shop.
1 single, 2 together, 1 single, 1 single, 2 together. And then I'm going to move my little hooky right.
My best friend Johnny Wright, his brother Jimmy Brown were up there.
I'm going to chain 1. And we are going to do this again, except for this time we are going to do 1 single crochet and then 2 together all the way around. So that's 1. Again, pay attention to your gauge and how tightly you're crocheting, otherwise you're not going to get through your stitches. Again, 2 together, 1 single crochet, 2 together,
So,
1 single crochet,
so they were walking down Bradyville Road, they're heading toward that Snowfall station.
2 together,
There was a payphone.
1 single crochet,
Every time a car would come along, they would hide
2 together,
his top and they would the
1 single crochet,
gas station for a ride.
2 together, we are getting close to, you could just tuck the tail inside there. If it starts getting in your way like mine is doing, that's my stitch marker, so I'm going to keep that outside. 1 crochet, excuse me, 1 single crochet, and then 2 together. One, and then 2 together. Move my stitch marker, pull that out, crochet right over top of it to designate that that was the last stitch. Hopefully, yeah, that made it in there. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult. Now this would be the part where you put your stuffing in. This is tiny. You could use cotton balls, you could use polyfill, recycled grocery bags, anything you want to. I mean, if you're giving it to a child, I would recommend polyfill, just because it holds up a little better. Or cotton balls, they work great too. Polyfill can be thrown in the washer though. I forgot to bring stuffing though, and I don't want to get up from the table again. So we are just going to do a little flat bunny. I do have one that's stuffed. It does call for the ears to be stuffed, but I did not like how they looked when they were stuffed. They did not look like a peep to me, so we altered that. Alright, I'm going to tilt this back up. we are going to start. Now we're going to increase again just a little bit. We just decreased to 12 stitches. I need to get my little stitch marker on the outside, because if I don't, I'm going to get it on the other side of the stitch so I don't crochet it in there twice. You can stop and count your stitches if you need to. There should be 12 at this point. But we're going to go ahead and start increasing again, because this is the bottom half of the little body. We are going to make the top half of the little body. This is all crocheted into one piece. Technically two, but you know, we're going to start on our next row. So I am going to chain up, and we are going to work one more stitch in the top of the stitch we just finished on. And then we are going to put 2 stitches in each round. 2, this 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17,
All this stuff.
18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and that is it for that row. And now remove that. Okay, I just counted my stitches to make sure I still had 24, and I do. So yay. And now for the next, for rows 14 through 17, it is just 1 stitch per row. So I'm going to do that. We're just going to go around. For 4 rows. 2, 3, 6,
Undersecretary of State Victoria Boland, and she did it in congressional. Normally they would be very close now, but she was concerned about
12,
Now, first the cover story. He the store clean them up. They were full of soda.
16.
But the funding started
Mm.
2005.
19.
The war 78.
Mm.
It's a really good
Um, 2. 23. 24. I'm sorry, I'm quiet. It's move up my stitch marker. I'm gonna do this 3 more times. Give me a few minutes to catch up. I am apparently crocheting extremely tight today. Having trouble getting into my stitches. Sometimes I do that. That's a good way to gauge your anxiety. If your anxiety is high, you're going to crochet tighter. Every time. Every time. It's a good way to keep your... It's very cathartic. You'll notice I can't get through my stitches. I must, relax a little. Take a deep breath. If you're getting too frustrated with your project, put in another stitch marker so you don't lose your spot. Make a little side note somewhere on a piece of paper telling you what stitch you're on, what sequence you were doing. Take a break. This is a project that I could probably whip out in apparently an hour. Normally faster when I'm not in the middle of a tutorial. But when you've got to talk and demonstrate, it slows you down just a little. Not a whole lot. We are getting there. This looks a little bit, I'm not going to lie, this peep looks a little strange when it's not stuffed. But that's on me for forgetting my polyfill today. I could get up, I could go get some bags, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to adapt and overcome. That's the theme of today. Move our stitch marker up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't remember if I mentioned it, but this pattern calls for worsted weight and a G-hook, which is a 4mm. I am using a 3.5mm just because I wanted my stitches just a little bit smaller. You could use an H-hook if you want yours larger, that's fine too. There's really no rhyme or reason for any particular gauge. You could use an H-hook, a G-hook. I'm using a 4.5. If you want a bigger bunny, if you want like a more life-size bunny, get some chunky yarn and follow whatever hook that tells you to get. This is worsted weight, so it's 4-ply. It's a medium weight. You can go get a chunky yarn. There are some really good ones out there. And make, you know, whatever size you want it to be. I'm not stuffing this one, like I said, because I forgot my stuffing, but at the same time, I think it's not going to look too bad not stuffed, and it would make a nice accent for on top of the Easter basket we made last week. You could sew that right on there. If you didn't want to stuff your peep, you could use it instead of making the flowers, put this on the basket. And it'll still look perfectly fine. What row are we on? I lost count of my rows. Excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
But if they would keep all the other laws in effect, we would keep Title III.
16. Okay, I have one more row. And then we will decrease a little bit.
Well, I don't think
And once we decrease a little bit, we will start working on the ear. It is a different, that's all I'm going to say. Every other bunny I have made, the ears were made separately. These are crocheted right onto the body as you go. And it is a little bit different of a process. I had to fiddle with this relentlessly to figure it out. And I've been crocheting for about, I don't know, about 12 years or so.
they'll find some
Give or take. So sometimes you gotta fiddle with the patterns, you know, and I did. I figured it out. We got it figured out. We made it work for the project. Sometimes you're gonna notice that written instructions, you need to tweak a little bit to make it work for you, and that's perfectly okay. These are not like, this is not an article of clothing, first of all. So if you want to change it up, change it up. Do as you please. It's your project. Be creative. Move my stitch marker. All right. Now we are going to start to decrease again to finish off the top half of this peep. Excuse me, Marshmallow Bunny. Don't come at me. No copyright infringement on these parts, man. Now we're going to decrease. So we're going to do just like we did when we were decreasing the belly. We're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches. 1, 2. I'm going to crochet the next 2 stitches together. 3. That's a 3-stitch sequence. So 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 together. 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 together. 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 together, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 together, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and 2 together. Let me move my stitch marker. We should have a total of 18 stitches with that. And then we are going to do our next round and we're going to get it back to 12 stitches. So with this one, we are going to do our chain 1. Oops, I already chained 1. I don't want to chain 2 because then it'll be too loose. And we're going to do 1 stitch, excuse me, then 2 together. And then you're going to do that all the way around. 1 stitch, 2 together. Eight, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, I am going to put my eyes on. Excuse me. Because after this is when we start our ears. And it's going to become a very difficult space to work in if I am using safety eyes. They look like screws. They come with, you can get these on Amazon, any craft store really. These backs that secure them on. Just because they are called safety eyes does not mean we give these things to children. This is yarn, excuse me. These are relatively safe, but there is always the chance that something could go a little bit off or pop off, and we don't want that. So I am placing my eyes about 2 stitches in, 2 visible stitches in, with about, 1 row down from the top, with about 4 visible stitches in between them. And then you can stitch your eyes on. You can just crochet eyes on there. You can get a fabric marker and draw them on. You don't have to use these. You could use buttons. Again, safety concern for little ones. If you want to give this to a little one, I would draw them on. Get a fabric marker, draw them on. Then I'm going to use one more Because I noticed when I was making these that the smallest eye that I would have liked to use popped right through the yarn. So again, safety is number one. If you're going to give these to a child, pay attention to the eyes and the nose that you use. Draw them on. If you need to. Then just eyeball the nose to try to get it a little crooked. If you put 5 stitches and visible stitches in between the eyes, it'll come out even. I only did 4, but it's even enough for me. Normally would prefer a little more symmetrical, but you know, nothing's perfect. Alright, so we got our eyes on our nose on. We are going to continue on with our little crochet adventure. Okay. That's about how we got that going. I'm going to move my stitch marker again. I'm just going to remove it at this point because we're going to start the ears. We are going to crochet 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I messed up. I might have to try to get these eyes out. This is what I mean. You can pop these right out. Don't give these to a kid. Just because they say safety eyes, I don't trust them. I'm removing my eyes and mouth. I will get it back in there later. Or I'll just draw them on. I'll go get my fabric marker and I'll draw them on. These are supposed to be safe for toddlers. That's what they claim. They're not. Don't put them on there if you're going to give it to a kid. Okay. So we crocheted our 6. And then we are going to go back into that first stitch of this row. And we're going to slip stitch. We create it like almost like a little finger hole. It's not really. It's going to be a pain to work in, I'm telling you. But it's going to be cute. No pain, no gain. My eyes were just a little bit off for where I wanted them to be, which is fine. Which is why I took them out. We are going to put them back in as soon as I get this ear done. And we are going to chain up. Go to the next page in my pattern. And then we are going to do 1 crochet, single crochet in the next stitch. We're crocheting around the circle that we just made. And then I'm going to put 2 stitches in the next. That's a total of 3 stitches altogether so far. We're going to turn this 6 stitch into 9. So 4, 5, 6, 7, and then right in the back where we slip stitch, we're going to put 8 and 9. 8, 9. Trust this process. It will work out. It's a pain. It's fiddly. It's like crocheting into a, like you're making fingers for a glove. All right, so we're going to do the next round now. We are going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Well, we're going to chain up. We need to chain up, and we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, and then we're going to do 2 single crochets in the next stitch. 3, 4, 5 and 6 go by themselves. 7, 8, and then we're going to do 9 and 10 by themselves. 9, 10, and 11 and 12 go in 1 stitch. 1, and then this is where I am going to put a stitch marker in. You can do this at the beginning of each row if you need to. I was a little bit more daring. I didn't. I should have, but it worked out. It's fine. And that gives us 12 stitches. And then we're going to do 2 rows of 1 crochet each stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Move my stitch marker. I'm going to do 1 more row. And somehow I've managed to end up with my stitch marker in the beginning of each row, but that's fine. Instead of the last stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And now we can move that again. Okay. Then we're going to start decreasing. If you're going to stuff your ear, this is where you do that before we decrease. So stuff your ear if you want to. If you don't, that's fine too. It's up to you. Your creative control. Okay, we are going to chain up. And then we're going to chain 1. And then 2 together. 2. And we're going to repeat that. 3. You should end up with 9 stitches. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9 stitches total, and we're going to do this again. We are going to do our chain 1, and then we're going to go 1 single crochet, and then crochet 2 together, two, 3, 4. This should leave us 5, 6. And then we're going to chain 1, and we're going to crochet 2 together 3 times. That's 1. We're still going around our ear. 2, and 1 more. It's going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt to get this last stitch in. I kind of, especially if you stuffed your ear, this is why I didn't stuff mine. You kind of got to fight for this last stitch, but pull that through. And there's still kind of a little gap at the top of that, I noticed. I just went through and did one more. I pinched it shut. You'll have 2 spaces where you can crochet a stitch together. It kind of gives your ear a nice cute little point. And then I like to add 1 chain before I cut it off. It makes a knot. I'm giving myself a long enough tail so that I can tuck that through the body and not have it pop through later. And as you can see, there is we're going to flatten this out as best you can. Give it a little squishy squish. There is one of our ears. And I have the body done. If this was stuffed, it would look a lot more like this one. But again, I forgot my stuffing. I'm sorry. Now I'm going to put my eyes on. I did not like putting the eyes on at this part yesterday, which is why I tried to do them sooner. But I realized you kind of, at least I needed an eye. I needed my eyes, like, it's hard to judge where the ear is going to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Until you've put an ear in. At least for me, you might be able to spot it better, but not everybody has the same ability to plot stuff out like that. It doesn't work for me. Because I could think it's going to land in one spot and it lands in a completely other. Again, don't use these if you're going to give them to a toddler. Just don't. I don't recommend these for anybody under the age. Like if, you know, they give you a recommended age. I mean, you could pop some super glue on it, but again, if you're, don't give this to a child that sticks things in their mouth, because they'll bite the eyes off, and you don't want that. Stitch them on. Crochet eyes or marker, fabric marker. Okay, we got that. My little pack of thingy doodlers came with really cute noses, I think. But they're too big. They don't work for the bunny. They're a little too big, which is sad. Alright, so I'm going to pop this nose on. I'm technically using 3 eyes, but it is what it is. Peeps just have little dots anyway. Now that I've got my face on, my weird little face, I am going to start crocheting this last little bit. I cut off my end, so I am going to slip knot, crochet hook deployed. I'm going to slip stitch into the back of the bunny to connect my yarn. Just slip stitch real quick, chain 1 so we can start our foundation. That counts as 1 stitch. Single crochet 5 more times, and the next stitch is 2. Three, 4, and I'm sewing that, I'm holding that tail down that I just made, slip stitching into this. 5, 6, 7. I'm going to slip stitch into that open gap. That doesn't count as a stitch. That's just something I put in there to kind of close the gap between the ears, because she didn't really address the gap between the ears and the pattern. And if you're stuffing, you don't want it to come out. So now I'm slip stitching into that first of 6 stitches, or the top of your chain 1. And now we have 6. We have another little loop we're going to crochet our ear into. It is very snug. So oh, my brain is killing me. All right. We are going to, now that we chained 1, we are going to put 1 more stitch into that stitch we just started in. We slip stitched into, and then we're going to do the same thing as we did 2, 3. We're going to do 1 crochet and then 2 single crochet in the next. 3, 4, 6, 7. If you still need your stitch marker, go for it. At this point, I can kind of see where my first stitch of each row is. 8, 9. I'm going to put that back there. I should have stuffed that in there, but that is okay. And then we're going to do our next row, which is 1 single crochet, in the next 2 stitches, and then 2 in the next. So a sequence of 4 stitches, 1, 2, and then 3 and 4 in the same. And then you're going to go around, and then 5 and 6 go in their own. They have 1 stitch, 1 single crochet, and then 2 in the next. This is 7 and 8 if you're counting. And then 9 and 10 go in their own. And then 11 and 12 go in the same one. And then we're back at the beginning again. So now we're going to do 2 rounds of 12 stitches, 1 in each. 1. I'm not going to stitch marker, I'm just going to count out loud. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Go around one more time. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Oh, I didn't know you were in here.
7. Yeah, I'm live streaming. 8,
Shut up then.
9, 10, 11, 12. And then we're going to do our last 3 rows, and then we're done, other than tucking ends. 1 crochet in the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, and then 2 together. 3, and then 1, 2, 3. That's 6. 1, 2, 3. And then we are going to, that was a total of 9. We're going to reduce to 6. So 1 crochet and then crochet 2 together. So that's 1, 2, repeat that all the way around. 3, 2 together, that's 4. 5, 2 together is 6. And then we're going to do our last 3 crochet 2 togethers. So we have 1,
I don't like, but nobody will know.
2, and then 1 more. Again, these ones are a pain in the backside to get into. The last crochet 2 together is a pain. It's the worst stitch of this whole project, but it's doable because it's only one time. You gotta fight with that. And then we are done. I am going to chain 1 like I like to do to knot my work. And now because I didn't stuff, I can just stick my crochet hook right in there and pull my ends through my work. This is a little bit of a cheat I have learned when it comes to amigurumi, is to hide your ends inside. Kind of like we have organs inside. Like I threaded it right through that eyeball. Again, I'm going to stick my crochet hook up into the bottom of the ear, up through the top. I'm going to loop my yarn around. I'm going to pull that through. Hopefully I just grabbed something I should not have. It's okay. Go back through. Why can't I pull this one through? This is the easiest part, and yet I'm messing it up. Go figure. And then this last little tail that I have, I'm going to go through. Ooh, ooh. This is why we stuff our bunny, because my little safety eyes are not very safety eye right now. They're popping through the back. But it's okay, because I can cover that in felt or something. And now that all my ends are looped through, I am going to trim my ends. Pull that. The darning needle would have also worked to weave that through, but you know. And there you have it. This is my flat peep. He's a little bit crooked. Let me see if I could fix that. Sometimes it just takes a little squish and you'll think it's off center. And this one probably is because I didn't stuff it. I got one eye higher than the other. But you know, we don't do perfect here. We don't do perfect anywhere. There's flaws. Flat bunny, stuffed bunny. You choose which one you want to do. Again, you could sew this right onto that little spring basket we made. We're making a wreath for our next class. You could use this on here. I crocheted a little bumblebee to stick on mine. You don't have to make a little bumblebee. You could, you know, put these guys all over it. Thank you for watching. Again, this was done using, it calls for a G hook, which is a 4mm hook. I use the 3.5. You can use, you know, if you use a bigger hook, the bunny's going to be a little bit bigger. This one, probably about 4 to 6 inches. If you use a bigger hook and thicker yarn, you're going to get a little bit of bigger of a bunny. If you use a smaller hook than what I did, you're going to get a smaller bunny. Your stitches are also going to be a lot tighter, which might show gaps if you stuff it a little too much. You can overstuff. Don't do that. Thank you for joining me. In 2 weeks, 2 Fridays from now, we will be doing the wreath. And then after that, we have a little crochet flower decoration we're going to do 2 weeks after that. The schedule is up on Facebook and our website. You can stop by and pick up a free Crochet to Go kit. It'll include the yarn and the hook and the pattern. That is free. You will need to provide the stuffing on your own and the safety eyes should you choose. I don't want to give those out simply because I don't think they're safe for children, and I am all about making sure everything is safe for the intended audience. Thank you again so much for joining me. Have a great day, and join Miss Teresa tomorrow for an art project. Have a good day.